All right, greetings. Welcome back to Black Bear News, where everything is connected. How you doing? Good to see you all. Thanks for hanging out. Cool. All right. YouTube is showing me a number of people watching. I still don't know if I necessarily believe that or not. We're live on Rockfin as well. What's up, Rockfinners? How you doing? I see ya. We're live on Callin as well. Callin is a pretty cool app where people can hang out and listen as a podcast and or call in. They have video on there too, but I'm already streaming to 2 video sites, so this is not a call-in exclusive show. Although I suppose I could go that way. I don't know. Does anybody have any thoughts on that? Thank you. Thank you, Andre. I appreciate that. Thank you. All right. A really good way to support the channel is at buymeacoffee.com/blackbearnews. An excellent way to support the channel. Another extremely direct ways are Venmo and Cash App. The links are in the description box of all the platforms that I'm on. I also have Black Bear News t-shirts if you guys that I make by hand. If you guys are into something like that, there's a link to buy a Black Bear News t-shirt, I think, in the description box. Also, super chats and Rockfin tips, greatly appreciated. All right. Let's get into something here. There's a lot afoot right now. A lot of big changes afoot. I know that we'll start with like some climate stuff. I know that it's very difficult probably Osama was saying, do I back up to other platforms? I do not. Although I probably should or could back up to Odyssey. Or even Rumble, I guess. I could probably upload to there. But no, this is pretty much it. This is really, I don't even have enough time to do the things that I'm supposed to do with how I'm doing it now, which is like update my Patreon links. I try to put all the links to what I'm covering in the show in Patreon, but I'm like a month behind on that. And yeah, I'm going to spend some time trying to catch up maybe today or tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, I just don't have time to sit around and like upload stuff to the internet. I'm moving about as fast as I can. Anyways. What was I saying? I know that I talk a lot about uh, maybe organizing to get, to roll back some socialist protections for people, or socialist type ideas, things that are good for the community or good for people that aren't necessarily profit driven. But it's really hard to do anything like that, considering that we're fending off the collapse of everything. And so I understand. Does Rumble do auto backups from YT? Maybe. Oh, didn't Extra Bulla tell me about that? Oh, jeez, I don't know. I lost the thread on that one. Maybe so, and I'll check that out. Maybe Rumble is a good place to back up. Anyways, the collapse of everything is happening, and there's the power structure on the planet. Or the way that power is aligned on the planet is also going to change very quickly, and it may not be a very fun time. Interesting times, no less. But exciting times for sure. Don't know if it's going to be fun times. Anyways, from all the snow that we've received in California, and I said this yesterday, and I've been saying it quite often. All that snowpack is not necessarily a great thing. It might be, on some levels, yay. We might get some reprieve from a long-term drought that we've been in. However, triple time the snowpack, and probably getting more this week, and then add to that probably very high temperatures, higher than usual temperatures this spring and summer, and you're going to get one heck of a snowpack melt. And what is that going to mean? Probably flooding. We're probably going to see, we've already seen some massive flooding just because of the rain. But this is an example here of what I've been kind of saying a little bit, but this is Peter Glick. This graph is getting a lot of attention, as it should. In plain English, it means the Tulare Basin in southern Joaquin Valley of California is going to flood, and there's nothing that can be done to prevent it. Prepare now to prevent the worst damages and save lives. I love the directness of that tweet. So here's what's happening. Average reservoir storage in blue. The red line is the reservoir storage now. This is the average reservoirs plus snowpack. Here's this black line across the whole thing. Here's what it is now, the reservoirs plus snowpack. This is the level we're at here, which is massive, way, way above. And that snowpack is not going to stay frozen. It's just not. Unless we have an ultra cool summer, or we have a cooler than usual summer or something, and somehow some of that stays in the mountains. And I can tell you it's not going to stay in the mountains. So what he's saying is correct, and the way he says it is correct. It is going to flood. There's nothing that can be done to prevent it. So not if, not maybe, not, guys, this could be bad if certain, if and if. No, he's saying it will. This. You should understand it right now and do the things that you need to do to either get out of the way or prepare for it, whatever. I love the directness of the wording. He also says there will be some aquifer replenishment, but this is also an area where overdraft of groundwater led to subsidence, right? Compaction of the ground into the places where the aquifer would hold water. So those places cannot hold water anymore. Aquifer compaction leading to permanent loss of storage capacity. Yeah. Yeah. So this is, we are set up for, disaster upon disaster. Unfortunately. I guess on the plus side, we might, we have a lot of water. Yeah, if you have rain barrels, it's a good time to have rain barrels. Although my water storage isn't something that can last very long in the summer. It really only lasts, I've only got a couple weeks maybe. Not drinking water, like storage water for like watering and doing other things. I should probably, had I had a couple more barrels, I would have many barrels of water. Let's see. But that's an important tweet to pay attention to. From Doomer Girl News, 1,000 plus years of tree rings confirm historic extremity of 2021 Western North America heat wave. A new study of the tree rings from the region shows that the event was almost certainly the worst in at least the past millennium. That's a heat wave in the Northwest in 2021. And, if you have been paying attention, if you've been playing your bingo, climate change bingo card at home, you know that it has been in the last, 5, 6, 7 years, much, the heat waves have become almost regular. Now, it's definitely much warmer on the West Coast and specifically in the Northwest. Again, that was only 2 years ago, and last year wasn't, was it as bad as 2021 last year? No, but there were some pretty significant heat waves last year, and that's what I'm saying about the snowpack this year. That's why you can almost certainly, call that a lock for flooding, because we're not going to have whoa, it's just was suddenly like just a very mild summer. Maybe we will. I'm not saying that, that's not possible, but the way that the trend line has been going, the way that it has been moving, the way that it's been looking is that it's, a little bit hotter every year. And the heat waves come either more pronounced or, more long-lived, or just, we just had a steady, super hot summer last summer. And the summer ended with just this 2 weeks of just intense, over 100 degrees every single day for like 2 weeks, and people were just like, oh God, just melting. It was rough. And that most, the likelihood that happens this year is very high. It's just a very high probability of it. If you want to just talk numbers and percentages. But meanwhile, we're still getting a really weird, long winter. Even, here is kind of strange. It's, when the sun is out, it's getting a little warmer. It's acting a little more like spring. But the forecast for literally the next 2 weeks is the same as it's been for the last 2 months, which is fairly cold at night, 40 degrees, and not really getting much above 65 during the day. And it just says it's going to continue. It's actually supposed to get very cold. Early April here is supposed to be the highs in the 50s. That is just ridiculous for California. But that's what we're getting. Yet another cyclone is bombing out off the west coast this evening, driving yet another strong storm into northern and central California. The Sierra will see another 2 to 5 feet of heavy snow and could see up to 60 to 80 inches of snow through Wednesday. Wow. Just piling on. Just piling on. Just disrespectful. More on the atmospheric swirl. This awesome-looking atmospheric swirl is delivering heavy rains and mountain snow to Oregon and California. A truly mesmerizing goes west water vapor view of a powerful bomb cyclone, Pacific storm impacting the U.S. West Coast. We probably won't get a lot of it down here, all the way down here, which is where I am. We're here. It's looking mostly northwest and northern California, like they're going to get the brunt of that. We're gonna see some, but probably not the intensity that we had the last couple of storms. Here's another look at, disaster capitalism. Making things just go straight into the trash can because somebody gets paid to grow, mine, strip, harvest, ship, produce, assemble, ship again, stock, put on shelves, sell. But if you don't sell it, it just goes straight in the trash can so we can make more and start that whole cycle all over again. But this is basically, I'm not going to play the sound, but basically they are throwing away these perfectly fine blankets at the store, and they have spray painted the blankets and basically destroyed the merchandise so that nobody could like get in there and get it and use it. It's absolutely an abomination. Criminal. But true like mean-spirited capitalism, right? Capitalism with no constraints for the people. Capitalism with no guardrails or regulations or anything like that. Capitalism that's run amok. It's definitely capitalism that's built on, and most capitalism is built on scarcity. You can't sell it for the highest cost possible if it's not available elsewhere for less or for free. Or if we give away the houses, we can't charge $2 million for the houses. So why would we give away houses to people so that they could live? Capitalism sauvage, yeah. Sounds about right. It's funny. I was listening to one of my favorite podcasts. That's generally super libertarian, super agorist. But they were describing raising the money to have a speaker come in and spend time with his particular presenter, and they were like, "Yeah, well, um, we needed money for a plane ticket and flown in, and so I asked the community. The community chipped in, got him here. I was like, wow, community coming together for the common good. I wonder what that's called." If only there was a word for it. The community coming together for the common good. Some people are funny. It is funny. All right. There are very frightening things afoot on the planet. Remember there was a bit of a skirmish with some drones and stuff in Syria, and it seems that has, well, what you don't want is for that to escalate, not escalate. But it seems like it has, anyways.
Fox News alert: one American's been killed in Syria after an Iranian drone strike. Our U.S. air defenses went down. And after we responded with precision strikes, Iran just responded by firing 20 more missiles near a U.S. base in Syria. What the heck is going on? White House correspondent Kevin Corke has the latest. Kevin.
Evening, Jesse. As you're right, Fox News has learned that more U.S. forces have been injured as a result of what you just pointed out, new Iranian rocket attacks near eastern Syria. Now, some of the injuries we are told tonight may in fact be very serious. And while the Pentagon continues to assess its response, there are reports at this hour that more U.S. retaliatory strikes may have been launched. Now, this tit-for-tat actually began when Iran proxy forces launched what U.S. officials believe was an Iranian-made drone that killed a U.S. contractor and wounded 6 other Americans on Thursday. Then President Biden ordered a series of retaliatory strikes in response, which was said to have killed 8 Iranians. So then Iran, as you said, with, again, proxies, they're using proxies in this circumstance, launching about 7 more rockets targeting a base. Then, of course, we talked about the other 20. Now, there are assessments at this hour, and in particular, we can tell you that in one of those strikes, there were no casualties or damage to the base, but that didn't stop the Pentagon from apparently responding again tonight. Now, in Canada today, the president acknowledged being briefed on the situation, and he said, quote, "We're going to continue to keep up our efforts to counter terrorist threats in the region and partnerships with Canada, other members of the coalition to defeat ISIS." Of course, he is saying that knowing that this continues to be the latest in a series of tests. I want you to remember this now. There are critics here in Washington, Jesse, that suggest this is all a byproduct of weak leadership at the White House. They point to the Chinese spy balloon, Russia, and what it's doing now in Ukraine and other malign activities with our drone itself. You saw that, and now you have Iran stepping up. This is part and parcel to what happens, say critics, on the Hill when you don't have strong leadership at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, Jesse.
Yeah, I'm not used to tit for tat with the Iranians. Usually they get the message after one big strike. I don't like this.
Yeah. So, some people in the chat's bringing up very good points about this, which is that the U.S. has been wanting to go to war against Iran for a long time. They've been just looking for a reason, right? Just trying to. And I was going to say, when I saw this, and pretty much when I saw the other news story the other day, I had to actually approach the news story with a fine bit of skepticism, right? Because whenever you have stuff like this, you have to actually the first thing you should do, and this is unfortunate, is ask, did this really happen, or is this really, is this real? Are the forces that they're saying that are doing this, are, like the drone being shot down over the was it the Black Sea? I think it was. Right? When I saw that story, my first thought, and it's unfortunate it has to be my first thought, but actually that should be your first thought. How much of this story is how much truth are you getting out of this story? So, you do have, right, you have the BRICS nations kind of coming together and coalescing around each other and kind of saying like, hey, we're going to stand together against the Western imperialism type thing. You have that. So is that lending Iran, some fortitude in making some moves? I don't know. Or is this as y'all have said, they've been wanting to go to war with Iran. Is this, a very convenient reason to do so? I don't think that question should be ruled out. Not at all. Especially when, what were we listening to the other day when somebody saying it really all comes down to oil. It really comes down to oil, especially if Saudi Arabia is going to join BRICS and get rid of the petrodollar. Right? And that kind of undermines the entire, supply chain of the cheap oil that keeps everything in America running. So, if you're faced with that, if that's looming in the near future, maybe the only way to really like circumvent that is to just go get the oil where you can get it, right? Go take over those oil fields. Go get that smaller oil producing nation, overwhelm them and go get that oil. I don't know if that's really that doesn't sound. It maybe what they're thinking. I don't know. It doesn't sound like a good idea. Because especially if Saudi Arabia and Iran have an accord now, like attacking Iran might not be good, right? It might not be good. But yeah, maybe we just think that we're just the biggest and the baddest, and we got the biggest stick, and we're just, these problems look like nails, and we have the biggest hammer. I don't know. But yeah, I'd say it all comes down to securing that access to energy. But I don't know. This is, this frightening developments. Oh, here's something from Iran, from Iranian TV. They are sending forces. They're sending forces to the border of Azerbaijan. Apparently, to stave off, someone coming over the border of Azerbaijan into Iran. I don't know. Somebody's saying Azerbaijan is getting out of control. They really think Israel is looking out for their interests. Turkey will not help them in a conflict with Iran. I hope Iran shows restraint but takes decisive action if needed. So I don't know if Azerbaijan is threatening Iran too. I'm not really sure. I haven't really heard anything to that. And again, take all of these images and news stories, you can take them at face value, but also skepticism is your friend. But that's not a good signal. But we see stuff like that coming out of China all the time too. Right? Every couple weeks somebody will be like, "Oh, look at all these tanks China's sending to to the coast near Taiwan, or right? These continuous news stories they show. And maybe it's true, maybe it's not. Maybe it's means something, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Maybe it's just something to get everybody all like, what? But that's concerning. In France, they're talking about the R word, but not the one that spells revolt. The other R word. Hold on. This is not the one I wanted to show. Protests in France are intensifying. Millions have taken to the streets. Are we witnessing the beginning of a French Revolution? The other R word. And quite a few people have said, there's other footage, I don't know, I guess I can find it, of firemen fighting police. There's other footage of the police taking off their helmets and marching with the protesters. So there's that. So it's popping off in France. And meanwhile, they want the West wants it to pop off in Taiwan, but it doesn't look like it will. From Revolutionary Blackout Network, the West is not going to like this one bit, despite the insane rhetoric coming from the West. Taiwan and their people want friendly relations with China because it's in the best interest of their people. They see what the West is doing in Ukraine and said no thanks. This is the former Taiwan president. I don't know if that has any, does the former Taiwan president have much say in how things are going? But I don't know. Anyways, the headline says they're pledging peace. All right. Quick break here. We'll check in on the coffees today. Not any yet, but a good way to support the channel. buymeacoffee.com/BlackBearNews. Also Venmo and Cash App. Are good ways to support as well. And of course, Rockfin Tips, Super Chats, greatly appreciated. Drag-Eye on Rockfin says, imagine working through the age 62, anticipating pension retirement like all citizens have enjoyed your whole life, then being told no, 2 more years of labor for you by a guy who never worked a real job in his life. Yeah. And they're mad about that. I think they're also they're mad about a lot of things. It seems to be a lot of issues going on that it's not just the pensions, but that's part of it for sure. But people are just, I think, showing a lack of confidence, a vote of no confidence for the people in charge. There's a lot of different issues. A lot of people don't want to be part of NATO anymore. A lot of people don't want to be part of the UN anymore. Some people want better climate action. There's a lot of issues that people are upset about there. But the pension being one of them. But for sure. But of course. Couldn't help myself. All right. The UN Security Council did not accept Russia's resolution. I wonder why. Hold on one second. The UN Security Council did not accept Russia's resolution on the establishment of a commission to investigate the sabotage at Nord Stream. The resolution was supported by 3 countries, Russia, China, and Brazil. No one voted against it. 12 abstained. That's very interesting. Yeah, now you're on to something there, Nadia. NATO equals Gladio equals their governments being controlled by neo-Nazi spies. Ooh. Getting a little close to the truth there. All right. This is actually the thing that I really wanted to cover today. This is important story of the day that y'all should know about if you don't know about this yet. Yeah, if there's something we should probably really revolt against, like right now, right away, it's this anti-TikTok bill. And this guy is going to tell you about it. And Gonzalo Lira posts this. Repression in the U.S. is about to get turbocharged with the Restrict bill. It's called the Restrict bill. And this is basically like the digital gulag bill. If you thought censorship and censorship and surveillance were bad already, it's about to get way worse. This guy explains this, and this is quite scary and dramatic. Okay, here we go.
The internet is about to fundamentally change forever, and it's terrifying. This is Bill S686, also known as the Restrict Bill. You'll probably know it as the TikTok ban bill, but it does so much more than just that. It actually does more than any bill I think we've ever seen. I encourage everyone to read it by going here and clicking the text tab, but here are the main takeaways. Foreign adversaries can change by definition, but a few are already listed. They are the People's Republic of China, including Hong Kong, Special Administration Region, the Republic of Cuba, the Islamic Republic of Iran, the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, and of course, the Russian Federation and Venezuela under the regime of Nicolas Maduro Moros. I hope I pronounced that correctly, but these definitions can change at any time. The bill covers hardware technology like modems, routers, and home cameras, and virtual tech like VPNs, and basically bans them if they are manufactured by or used to contact and deal with foreign adversaries. Speaking of VPNs, using VPNs to bypass banned apps such as TikTok is made a criminal act under this bill, and the penalty is a minimum imprisonment of 20 years and a minimum fine of $250,000 or $1 million, depending if you knowingly did so to access
20 years for using a VPN to access a banned app. You think that's a little over the top? Or $250,000 fine. Jesus.
Banned content. The bill gives the federal government the power to monitor any activity used by these suspected devices, virtual or otherwise. Essentially, they can monitor what you are doing at home 24/7 without even informing you. This includes things such as routers, video games, streaming apps, smart thermostats, Ring cameras, basically anything that uses the internet. Now, the real terrifying part of all of this, as if that all wasn't terrifying enough, is that the bill goes on to state that this will happen by the president appointing a Secretary of Communication. That secretary then forms a group on their own without any voter input whatsoever. This group can have meetings behind closed doors. They don't have to disclose anything. They can ban and deem anything inappropriate or a risk to security at any moment in time. And if they do, they can go through your instant messages, your emails, texts, basically anything that uses the internet, and they can censor it. So in summary, this bill can effectively ban anything the government deems inappropriate extremely quickly without warning. The ramifications of this range from breaking up mass communication methods to even watching the cameras in your home, aka spying on you. It really is that bad, and I am not speaking in hyperbole. Please contact your reps. I have a video on my TikTok ban playlist on how to find your representatives and tell them if they vote for this, you will support their opponents in their next primary. If I missed anything in this bill, please let me know in the comments. Share this information with anyone and everyone. I will be covering this bill and the TikTok ban throughout, so to stay informed, please make sure to follow.
Okay. And his account is at Say Hey James. Say Hey James, if you guys want to go to his account. I mean, there's part of that. They're already using your cameras and your microphones of all your technology to spy on you. That's already happening. So, I mean, they don't necessarily need this bill to do that. This may just be codifying it into something that, you know, is a little more obvious. Anyways, that is frightening, to say the least. Right? We're going in the opposite direction of the Internet Bill of Rights, right? That's long ago been thrown on the dumpster heap, the trash heap of things that we might want to expect from the government, a Bill of Rights for the internet. Nope, now there's just out and out censorship and using anything you say and do possibly in a court of law against you on the internet. So just know that. Just be aware. I didn't know that all of that was in that. So there you go. It's important to not let them pass that bill. Let's see. Listen to Dr. Mike Eden talking about talking about some things here. Oh, he's talking about, CBDCs.
When we lose cash, if we lose cash, and you've only got central bank digital currencies, the computer will know what it is you're trying to do before you even do it, and they will prevent you from doing it. If, for example, they say you can't leave.
And I'm playing this actually because imagine the TikTok, the restrict bill going into effect, CBDCs going into effect. Basically just, out and out, this out and out technological control grid being implemented. What you do, how you do it, how you spend your money, where your money's being spent, how, just ramping up the surveillance way beyond what we already experience now.
Leave your house more than 5 miles. You try and buy a bottle of water 6 miles from home, you won't.
Oops.
Be able to. I'm not kidding. That's so many reasons why you should retain cash. It's offensive that the politicians believes that they have a right to all of your information at all times. With you lose cash, and this is what we must not let them do. When we lose cash, if we lose cash, and you've only got...
All right. I mean, he's basically running it down for you there. Y'all hear about the Nashville school shooter? I don't know. I don't know if I really wanted to cover that story. Although the school shooter was apparently transgender. And so, you know. Yeah, I don't know how much I really have to say about it. Other, was it a man going south? I don't know. Totally male man person. Yeah, that's what I thought too. Actually, when I saw the picture, supposedly it was a woman who right, became a man, looks kind of like a man. So it's hard to tell sometimes. But, you know, I don't know. Yeah, when they said in the article, it was the first time that you know, or it's very unlikely that a woman is a school shooter, and I was like, yeah, well, this one's not a woman either, but that's what I thought. You know, I don't know how many different takes you can have on that. That's why it's hard to get into the whole, you know, mass shooting thing, because of the heavy element of psyopiness in all of those things. You could also say, it's interesting that, you know, supposedly, you know, we're supposed to protect transgender people from ultraviolence, from hate, and you know, I think we should. I'm not saying I'm not, but I'm just saying that's you know. But apparently, this transgender person was driven to such a degree of hatred that they decided to shoot people. So that's interesting. So, on some levels, it's just outlining that anybody is prone to extremism and or violence and or anyways. That's about all I have to say about it. Yeah, but there, you know, the whole psyopiness of most mass shootings is a little bit. I mean, the one in what was it, San Marcos? The one in Texas was like, what is going on here? I mean, that one was just weird, so weird. And now it's in the rearview mirror, right? Nobody's talking about that one anymore. Denver says, also a Highland victim just happened to be on scene to lecture everybody why we should not have guns. Some coincidence, right? Yeah, I guess if you combine the restrict bill, CBDCs, and combine that with, you know, kind of hacking back people's rights to bear arms or to defend themselves or to own guns, I guess. You know, you can get a picture going, I guess. But there's just so many things going on in this story that that's kind of why I don't really want to talk about it too much, because there's so many angles and ways you could look at it. And I don't know. Sometimes there's some stories I prefer to wait to really wade into them, because because you start talking about it, and then like 2 days later, it's a completely different story. But it looks weird, though, doesn't it? It's a weird looking story. And it's unfortunate that people have to be subjected to this stuff, right? On any level, right? And lastly, Aaron Mate. You know what? Actually, I'm going to leave this for tomorrow, guys. I have to. I'm going to end the score now. I'm end the show now. Excuse me. I'm going to wrap it up here. But thanks for hanging out, guys. I appreciate you. All right. Thanks for hanging out and chilling out with me every single day on these interwebs. Again, y'all know the different ways you can support the show. All the links are in the description boxes. And someone bought me 3 coffees here. Good. I'm glad I checked it at the end of the show. Thank you, my friend. It says someone. This is someone bought 3 coffees. So thank you, someone. I think I know who that someone. I know who that someone is. Thanks, man. And thank you all for hanging out. And I will see you tomorrow at the regular hour of 12 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And until next time, peace.